Welcome to Keep It 100, the Coach Jones Show on this Tuesday morning. We have a special guest in the house this morning, Mr. Ethan Lawrence, the outstanding running back, defensive back, and Mr. Coach Jones himself.
Yes, absolutely.
Congratulations real quick, Coach, on Coach of the Year.
Yes, sir. And like I said, I posted on social media, that's not just a single person award. Anytime you win an award like that, it goes to the coaches, the coordinators, the players, the staff, and the community. That's not just my award by itself. Everybody had a hand in that. It takes a village to be able to build a top program, and I feel like all these guys had a hand into it. The seniors, our coordinators, and all our assistants played a big role in me getting that award, so I'm thankful for it, and I'm ready for the playoffs and keep this thing rolling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I said, congratulations on that, man. You did well deserved what you guys have done so far. I know we'll get into that. But like this morning, like I said, we got a special guest, Mr. Ethan Lawrence, the outstanding running back, defensive back. He left for a little bit, brought himself back home over here to the Dale City Eagles where they're going to the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
So how you doing this morning, Mr. Lawrence?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I can't complain. Hey, I get to spend my morning with you guys, man. This playoff week. It's a good week, man. The weather's going to be kind of chilly. It's football weather. So, hey, so what do you think, going into your senior year, coming back home to Dale City and playing, you played receiver, then coach moved you to tailback. What did that feel like?
I ain't really coming to the season training for running back. So I just kind of got thrown in the fire, but, I maintained and, kept composure and just like, all right, I've done this before, so it was nothing new to me, just give me the ball, see what I could do with it.
I love it. I'll tell you, like you said, you was thrown in the fire, but with the stats that you have when you're sitting at 947 yards,
Yes,
8 TDs. Yep. I mean, you go out and get 50 yards this week, you're gonna be 1,000-yard back, man. I mean, last year you was a 700-yard receiver over at the Jaguars, and that just kind of tells colleges, man, you're a two-way player. You're kind of like a Reggie Bush, is what you kind of say.
Yeah.
So it's kind of good though. So what's it been like coming back home to Dale City and playing for Coach Jones?
It's been great. I haven't second guessed it at all. So I'm having fun in my senior year, and that's really all that matters.
And you know what? That's the thing when we talk about this show each week, having fun. Because you know what? You never know when it's going to be your last game. Right now you guys get to start another journey. You end up finishing the season with 9-1.
Yes,
now you guys can start a journey over. Now everything is 0-0. So you have your first home game here this Friday night. Against the Sand Spring Sandites, which is a good ball club. We'll talk about that. But I just tell you, what you have done with the team, you and Jason Smith and even your quarterback, Virgil Gates, has been a three-headed monster this year. Yeah. And all three of you guys have put in some, especially you and Virgil, both to being 1,000-yard backs, and then Jason Smith coming in and spilling. And I'll tell you one of the things I really like, Ethan, is that in the Deer Creek game, you started the game off, but Jason finished the game. Mm-hmm. But your attitude after the game never changed.
Yeah.
You could have pouted. It's like, one won the ball. But you kept the same composure on your face that, hey, if you was running the ball, then he was running the ball. So I want to give you up to you on that. So, Coach, tell us a little bit about Ethan, though.
Well, me and Ethan have a unique background. I went to high school with his mother, and we remained friends throughout college and throughout our adult lives. He came here his sophomore year. He was a great player for us then.
Yes, sir.
I believe at one point in time on junior varsity, he scored in 6 different ways. He scored at quarterback, running back, receiver, punt return, kickoff return. He had an interception for a return. So we knew the type of talent he had.
Yes,
he made a decision to go to Westmore. I respect that. He made a decision to come back. And I knew coming into the season, with Virgil being a young quarterback as far as experience, he was an experienced player. But as far as quarterback, he was an unexperienced player. So I knew that our passing game would take some time to get going. And I knew Ethan was a guy that we need to get the ball anywhere from 12 to 16 times a game. So he played scout team running back for us a couple plays, and I knew right away. As soon as I seen him make a couple cuts, the way he was filling the hole and the way he was reading everything, I said, man, we got to put this guy at running back. It's a way to get him the ball. It's also a way to split him out and use him at receiver as well. You could do a little bit of both. We hadn't had to do that yet because we've been so successful on the ground, but that was my thinking at the beginning whenever we did move to running back. For a kid to be able to go in 6'1" and have 700 yards receiving, and then be able to come in 6'2", which arguably this year could possibly be the best division in Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
To be able to come and be a 1,000-yard rusher shows what kind of player he is, shows the kind of athletic ability he has. College coaches really need to take notice. I think this guy is special. And not only that, we're just talking about the offense side of the ball. To be able to go and start on as safety at one of the best defense, if not the best defense in the state, shows what kind of caliber a player he could be on the defensive side as well. And he's also a leader. He's a leader. He's very respectful, well-spoken. His work ethic is great. So I'm excited to be working with him. I'm excited that he came back. And it's just been a surreal feeling this year. I remember after the Carl Albert game, the way he kind of put himself on the map. I've always known that, but I think he put the state on notice, and I'm excited for the kid. I'm excited to see what he's going to do in the playoffs.
That's good stuff. So, Ethan, do you have any schools you're kind of interested in, or that you like to, you want to go try to, go to, or you got anybody talking to you right now?
I don't really got nobody talking to me right now. I'm just kind of like letting it pan out. It was really focused on playoffs right now. So after the season, I'll get into all that stuff and start sending my tape out, see where it gets me.
Man, hey, I'm telling you right now, man, if you don't make it in football, you're going to make it as Abercrombie Mono. I'm going to tell you that right now, man. That's good stuff, man. I love to hear that because, most of these guys are caught up so much about where I'm going to go, and you're like, hey, you know what? We're going to go win us a gold ball, and everything's going to take care of itself. And I always say, this is one of the things I used to hear all the time. Good things happen to people that wait. Yeah. And I tell you right now, Coach mentioned you on the defense side of the ball. I talk about that Deer Creek game. Yeah, you might not have one of your best rushing games, but on defense you had 10 tackles. You should have had a pick. Yeah. You turn a little quick, you had a pick. But it just shows you, man, you what you can do on both sides of the ball. So, and in this, and I right now, me and Coach we talk about this week in and out about what's going on when kids get recruited. I think right now, coming in late, a lot of kids are gonna start getting these offers. And I'll tell you what really happens. The farther you go in the playoffs, the more people are gonna come watch you. So I just think that. So Ethan, what's some of your favorite food? Come on, give me something good. Come on.
Well, fast food, I gotta go with Popeyes.
Popeyes? Oh, I gotta give it to you because most people are gonna say Chick-fil-A. I'm happy because me and you go get that 2-piece meal for $2.99. If I'm with my kids, they're gonna want that Chick-fil-A, and I'm gonna spend $30. Yes, so what's some of your hobbies that you like to do?
Really. Play the game, really.
Call of Duty?
Yeah, when I was at home chilling, I was really on the game.
That's nothing wrong with that, man. I mean, I was a gamer for a while. I finally turned in my sticks, man. When I got over to 40, I had to turn in the sticks. But sometimes it's still when the boys come over, I like to play Madden with them.
Yeah.
So, Ethan, going into the playoffs this week, you guys got Sand Springs. So what would be something you would tell your teammates, hey, what we got to do to take care of business for the next 3 or 4 weeks?
We just got to be locked in and turn it up another notch, really. I mean, we obviously the better team, so let's just go out and practice today, run them Eagle Makers today, handle business, and we'll see y'all next week.
Well, I got one last question I ask you because the weather has changed, man, and I know I don't like the cold weather. I'm going to ask you, what do you feel about the cold weather?
I mean, I didn't wear sleeves at all last week.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Because, most of those guys got those heated things in their hands and all that. Yeah. But that's what I like to hear. Well, folks, man, I appreciate us having Ethan Lawrence, on this morning, to talk, a little Del City playoff. I mean, I'm excited because we're going to the playoffs. Coach Jones, winning coach of the year of his conference, man, that's big things. And what you guys have done here so far, this season. And like I said, you start the second season now. So we'll be right back after one of our sponsors. Welcome back to Keep It 100 Coach Jones Show. Joining us this morning is Coach Mathana, the offensive coordinator. The man is putting up the points this year. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. this morning. How are you?
Hey, I can't complain, man. It's good to have you on the show, man. It's one thing that me and Coach Jones started doing the last few weeks is adding people to the show. Not just as the Coach Jones show, but he wants people to recognize who his players and his coaches are. And we've been talking about you the last few weeks, what you've been doing with the offense, man, which the numbers you've been putting up. Last week you put up, 62 points against a Lawton team at Cameron Stadium, which is a tough place to play. So tell us a little bit about the offense, you taking over the helm this year.
A lot of it has to do with the kids, They're a year older, a year better. I think everybody's bought in and believing right now in the mission. I think that has a lot to do with Coach Jones has been preaching this entire year, one family, one mission. And I think the biggest reason for our success is the unselfishness. Our kids, they don't complain about who gets touches, who gets balls. Our receivers celebrate blocking for our running backs, and it's had a lot of success. We've got a three-headed monster in the backfield.
Yes, you do.
And we give a lot for defenses to prepare for. We can go 4 wide receivers, we can go 2 tight ends, we can bring in 2 tight ends and 2 fullbacks, and and we just give a lot for people to prepare for, and I think it gives us an advantage, and it could be different things every game, but.
So, Coach Jones, you're sitting here with your offensive coordinator. When
Yes,
you're putting your staff together, he's one of the guys that was here last year with your Dell City bunch, and didn't have the great season, but you guys say, hey, we're gonna put something together this season.
Yes, sir.
And you guys are rocking and rolling, like I said, sitting at 9-1, being the number 1 seed going into the playoffs this week. So, tell us a little bit about Coach Madonna when you decided, hey, I'm gonna bring him back with me, and he's gonna be my offensive coordinator.
Well, not only did we coach together here for 4 years, we played together at Carl Albert. He was a sophomore when I was a senior, so I knew he had that pedigree as well. Coach Rose does a great job instilling characteristics and certain type of things into a young man, and so I knew he had that, and I knew he was successful through his tenure here at Dell City. We don't score points plenty of times. Last year was kind of shaky. COVID was a part of that, and you don't see your kids for 4 or 5 months. I think it's going to affect the offense more than it will defense. So I think that played a role into it. And I think Madonna had a lot of critics. He had a lot of critics last year, and I thought that was unfair. I knew what type of man he was. He was selfless. He's always willing to drive the bus. He's always willing to do the little things behind the scenes that a lot of people don't get to see.
Yes, sir.
So I knew what type of man he was. I knew what type of family man he was. So I knew what I was getting. And, I knew what my personality blended in with him. I knew what we could do offensively, and we've been able to show that this year. We're averaging 40 points a game. Anytime you score 40 points a game, regardless of what level it is, that's fantastic. Not only that, with the style of defense we play and how they play every week, if we can score 40 points a game, I think our percentage of winning goes up. Like he said, he's done a great job using different formations, utilizing all of our talent, and working with a quarterback who's really his first year to be able to do the things he's done with Virgil shows his experience, shows his talent level as a coordinator. I'm excited to continue to see him grow. I'm excited to see what he's going to do in the playoffs against these playoff teams.
Well, no, that's good, Coach Don. Everything he's saying is correct. You probably one of the highest scoring besides Bigsby. They just like to play video games with everybody. Yeah. But you guys are right there behind them, man. Like I said, scoring 62 points against Lawton last week. Lawton's a team that's usually in the playoffs. A team that's back in the early 90s that was contenders with some of the best backs coming out with Brewer and all that. But what you guys did last week, and putting in your second team and still scoring and putting up points is great. So, Coach, what do you feel like going into this week? With Sand Springs coming to Dell City, you guys' first playoff game here at the Eagles Nest. How do you feel? What's your game plan for them?
I feel confident in our kids. I think they're prepared, they're focused, they're ready. Our formula is pretty simple. If we take care of the football and we win the physical battle, we got a pretty good chance. And we've done that for the most part all year, with the exception of Booker T. And so that's our main focus this year. Sand Springs is a solid football team.
Yes, sir.
Solid tacklers, very physical, very strong. With that being said, when you look at our schedule, we've played some really great defenses.
Great defenses.
We've played multiple 1 seeds in the playoffs. We've played, a very tough schedule. So I think that prepared us for this moment. And I think our kids are confident and they're ready to go, and we're going to have to play well, and it's just like anybody. When you get to this point in the season, everybody's a good football team.
Hey, the next man up, yeah. So, Coach, I want to, kind of talk about it. I didn't ask you at the beginning, my fault. So tell me a little bit about your coaching history and your background, where have you coached at? I know you've been at Dell City for a few years, but where have you coached at besides Dell City?
I started my career at Millwood City High School with Coach Huff. Did offensive line there for 5 years. And then had the opportunity to follow one of our assistants that went out to Bethel and become a head coach. So I did that for 4 years. And then when Coach Dunn and Coach Jones came back to Dell City, I had the opportunity to come back to Mid-Dell where my wife worked and my daughter went to school, and be a part of building this over here. So throughout my life, I've been a part of all 3 Mid-Dell schools.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing, man.
So I was real blessed with that opportunity, took advantage of it, and it's worked out. It's worked out well. I've had a lot of fun, a lot of success.
Well, Coach, I'm going to say one thing to you real quick, man, before we let you go. You coached a little bit, and I didn't know you had that much coaching in you, but you ain't got 1 gray hair. So I don't know what, I tell you,
Put all that stress on me.
That's what I'm saying, Coach. I like it because if you look at, me and Coach Jones were talking about this a few weeks ago. We're talking about both of us sitting here. And next year we do the show, we're going to both be look like Santa Claus. And you're sitting here and you tell me how many years you coach. I'm thinking, this guy, he look like he's about 21 years old, But I'm thinking,
well, I guess I appreciate that.
Yeah. So it's good stuff, though. But I'm tickled, man, to be part of this, man, this year doing the show, getting to meet you. Like I said, I know you took some critics last year, but like Coach said, with COVID going on, nobody's perfect in this world. But I tell you, I think what you've done, and Coach Jones has a lot of faith in you, and he's told me himself that, hey, how much he trusts in you and let you run that offense. And like you said, having that three-headed monster, and I think you do a great job giving everybody the ball. It's not like, I looked at the stats from last week, Jason had that many carries, but Ethan and Virgil and even the little freshman, and that's good that, hey, we're saving Jason's legs going into the playoffs because there's going to be a game.
They all average 9 yards a carry. So anytime you average 9 yards a carry and 25 yards a pass, that's a formula
you can't
for
beat
success.
That.
So
you can't beat that at all.
Yes, sir.
But Coach Madonna, real quick before we let you go, man, like I asked the kids, what's one of your favorite meals?
Oh, I definitely know I'm Italian. My mom came from Italy, so
Okay.
Chicken parm is probably
Yes, sir.
my favorite meal if I had to go one shot, one meal. So
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds good. So what do you do in your spare time when you ain't preparing for teams and all that?
during football season, I try to get as much dad and husband time in
Yes,
as
sir.
I can. I got a little 6-year-old girl and getting ready to be 7, and so try to give her as much time as I can, but not too far off from the kids. I'm a PlayStation guy.
Oh man, you gotta be on the Xbox, man. Come on, man. You must not got. I switched over to the Xbox because I got big hands. PlayStation for them guys with small hands,
For a long time, PlayStation Online was free. Xbox charged.
Yeah. You right about that.
Now they charge you, so I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
I am.
Well, Coach, I mean, it's tickled to have you on the show, man. It's so good when you can do these kind of things and people can see what you guys give back to the community, and everybody hears your name, but they never get to see the face, and that's why I told Coach, it's good to bring you guys on, man. Like
Absolutely.
I said, what you guys have done this year, because no one had you guys probably pick the win conference. You probably had Stillwater or or PC North, all those teams, but you guys just went out and done an amazing thing and beat all those teams. One team you lost to is in the playoffs, but I tell you right now, and I tell coaches all the time, I think if you used to rewind that game and play that game today, you guys are sitting undefeated. You're going in 10-0. So I think you've done a great job. You guys both done a great job, with the staff, with the team, and with the staff and everybody else. So, Coach, I appreciate you. Good luck
Thank
this
you.
Friday night, and go Eagles.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll be right back after one of our sponsors. Welcome back to Keep It 100 Coach Jones Show. Folks, as you see, we've already had Coach Madonna on, Mr. Ethan Lawrence, outstanding running back, defensive back. We're rocking and rolling on this Tuesday morning, going to the road to the Gold Ball. Now we got the coach on. We get to talk to him and see, hey, how it went last week in the game. But congratulations again. I know we didn't get the chance to talk on it and winning, Coach of the Year of your district. How does that make you feel? What you've done this year, man, is outstanding. So you well deserved, Coach.
absolutely, it was actually Region 8.
I'm sorry, my fault. Region 8. Hey, I make mistakes here. That's why we call it Keep It 100. He corrected me.
Absolutely, and like I said before, everybody always uses that phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to build a program.
Yes, sir.
And so me winning that award was just an example of what other people have done for me, starting with my mom, being a single mom, and my stepfather. They did a great job raising me. And then, the support that I get from my coaches, both of my coordinators, they do an awesome job coming up with schemes, implementing with the kids and the coaches. So they deserve this award as well, because without them, I wouldn't be here. And then the players, I don't play one snap. I don't put on one shoulder pad or one helmet. So those kids going out there and doing what they did this year, believing in me, believing in my message, and winning some tough games. I heard a phrase yesterday, and it was on the Sports Animal. They said they were talking about Nebraska and Scott Frost, and everybody's like, well, he's doing good because he's playing in close games. But I think it was Barry Trimble. He said an example of great coaching is how you coach in close games.
Yeah.
So to be able to win the close games that we had,
Yes, sir.
we could have had a season just like last year, because if you look at the Bishop McGinnis game, overtime. You look at the PC North game, overtime. You look at the Deer Creek game, overtime. Those 3 games, if we lose those games, it's a different story this year.
Yes,
it's
sir.
a whole different story. And even Stillwater, it was 10-0 at halftime, so that was considered a close game. So winning those close games shows the kind of ability I have as a head coach, and it shows the kind of ability my coordinators and my assistant coaches have, and our players to be able to play in crunch time. So I'm thankful for those guys, and I'm also thankful for the administration and staff and the community for supporting me and giving me this opportunity. I'm glad I was able to reward them with that Coach of the Year.
Because, like you said, I mean, a big win over the Lawton Wolverines last week, 62-35.
Yes, sir.
Improve your record to 9-1, 7-0 in district. Already had the number 1 seed, but
Yes, sir.
secured the number 1 seed for sure.
Yes, sir.
And, in the first round, game against Sand Spring Sandites, which have a great coach in himself with Bobby Klink, a guy that played, collegiate college football at OU. So a good title with 2 guys. That would be kind of like I guess you'll have a bedlam this Friday night.
Yeah, it's
an
kind of
OSU guy versus an OU guy. So
I think he ended up transferring to Tulsa.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, it got a little Tulsa in him too. Then, so, but Coach, I like to say though, what you have done, this year, improving the team from last year to this year, getting the number 1 seed, winning, like you said, regional 8 coach of the year, and then, like I said, you're giving that credit to your coaches. Coach Williams, Coach Madonna, your 2. Coordinators as your side-by-side sidekicks. So, but I wanted to tell you, I'm really thrilled with what you have done with the team and what you have brought the team to where they're at now. But let's talk about a little bit about last week's game. The Lawton game, because at one point in time I looked at it was just a blow away, and I know the score ended up being close to what it is. When I asked you about it, you said, "Hey Tony, I put the backups in," which that's good to do because those guys deserve it too, man. They work hard every day. They're sweating and playing scout team, and they get a chance to go play on the road and be part of that district championship feeling that makes them feel more part of it. So tell me a little bit about the game last week, though.
Well, coming off the U.S. Grant game, we told our kids Lawton was a playoff game, and we wanted to be hitting on all cylinders. We wanted to be playing fast and physical. We wanted to be able to throw the ball offensively. We wanted to be able to run it like we always do. And then defensively, we want to do what we always do: come out, play fast, get after the quarterback. Make plays in the secondary, and we did those things. We had a little shaky start at the beginning. We had some fumbles in the first series, which I don't like. We got to get those things shored up and fixed because in the playoffs that will cost you. But we were able to do some things offensively that I love. We were able to get some tight end formations, get Foreman the ball, show that that's another tool that we can have, and David as well. I think Virgil was, I want to say 6 out of 10 for like 110 yards. For 2 touchdowns. He made some big throws to Jalen Sweet, which I'm very excited about. Jalen Sweet has showed up for us in big games. He had 2 touchdowns against Carl Albert. He had 2 touchdowns against Lawton. So that's 2 games where you have 2 touchdowns. And then all of our running backs end up averaging 9 yards a carry. So anytime you have 3 running backs, and I consider Virgil a running back at times, anytime you have 3 running backs averaging 9 yards a carry, that's successful for an offense. So to be able to put 62 points up, and that was in the 3rd quarter, to be able to put that, and that was with the starters, to be able to do that, that's exceptional, On the defensive side of the ball, we did the things that we always done all year. We got after them, At halftime, it was 41-7. We did have a shaky start with them at the beginning as well. They hit us with a double pass. Kanaji ran up, and they got over the top of us, and they were able to score early. But after that, we kind of shut them down with our first team. It was 41-7, I believe, at halftime. When I started subbing our varsity guys out, I say varsity, our ones out, it was 55-7. So when you look at the score, you look 65-35, 62-35. You're like, dang, Dale City gave us some points. Our starters only gave up 7 points, and against that type of offense, against Lawton, that's exceptional. They play some great football this year. They beat PC North. They gave some people fits all year. So for us to be able to go out there with our ones and our starters to be able to have a 62-7 lead when I started putting some of our backups in, that's exceptional. So that's the kind of thing we wanted to go into the playoffs clicking that way, and we did. And then it opened up an opportunity for us to get some backups, some reps. Offensively, our backup quarterback was able to get in there and get some reps, and that's huge for him because you never know what can happen. I always talk about Virgil's playing style, so it's always going to open up opportunity for him to have to go into the game, and I don't want to have a drop-off there, especially with our running game. Then our offensive line, our backup offensive line guys, we're going to be leaning on some of these guys next year, so I want them to get into the fire versus some varsity-type players, some starters like Lawton. So they play well as well, DeMarin Turner, he's a quarterback for us, but he plays some running back. He ran the ball well. And, our defense came in. They didn't play as well as I would like, but they need to get that fire because, they're a snap away. Some of those guys are a snap away from playing. Football is a very physical sport, so you never know what can happen. So those guys need to get that experience. They need to be on those Friday night lights. So if they do get thrown into the fire, it doesn't just knock them off their feet. So it's some things we can fix with them, but the only way to fix it is to get that experience and be able to see it live so that we can fix those things. But to be able to finish the year off with 9 wins in a row, that's exceptional for this team, this program, the coaches, the players, and myself. And to be able to go undefeated in district, that's something that we wanted.
Big time.
That's something that we wanted. I don't think I've ever done that before. Even when we was at Carl Albert, I was talking to one of my friends when I went to Carl Albert. We never won district, So to be able to do that was a pretty big deal for me. But we're at a point now that doesn't mean nothing, you know. I say that in all due respect for what we have done, but it's 0-0 now.
0-0.
We got to go win in the playoffs, you know. If we lose Friday night, nobody's going to be talking about district champs. Nobody's going to be talking about the 9-game winning streak or 7-0 in district. Everybody's going to be talking about, dang, Del City, the 1 seed, lost to the 4 seed. So we got to get geared in. We're locked in. We know what type of program Sand Springs is. We know what their head coach brings to the table. He's similar to me. He played Division I football. He was a defensive back. I remember in high school him playing for Jinx. You know, Jinx was going on that long run of winning a couple in a row, and I was at Carl Albert winning some in a row. So it's kind of amazing to see how things work out in life. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about going against this team this Friday. They're a hard, physical team. They don't play in some close games as well.
Yes.
They played Booker T, who beat us 37-32. They played Choctaw 41-28. They had the lead. They didn't have the lead, but they were down 34-28, and they were going to go take the lead, and they got a strip fumble, and Deshaun Brown took it back to the house. So they show what kind of caliber team they could be because they're playing against great teams, and they're close games, and they're putting up points. So we understand what kind of program they're in. We're locked in. We understand what we have to do. We can't turn the ball over. We have to play physical football, and we have to do what we did all year, close games, and I feel like we're going to be successful.
Well, Coach, it's funny you say that, man. I love it, man. You on top of your game right there.
Absolutely.
Like I said, you know, that's some of the things I was going to talk about. You know, like I said, playing Booker T to a real close game. The only team that you lost to this year to tell you what type of caliber team that Sand Springs could be. The Sandites.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to need to find out what a Sandite is. But like you said, also playing Choctaw, you know, to a close game. I mean, that game ended up being 41-28. But the score was close to what the game was close to what the score shows.
Absolutely.
But I tell you this though, I mean, they do. And I was talking to this Coach Madonna, you know, her before we started the show. You know, their quarterback T. Pennington, thrown for over 2,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. I'm telling you right now, to throw the ball that much and only throw 2 interceptions, I mean, it tells you, hey, your DB got to be on. They got to be on point this weekend because it tells you they like to throw the ball around. They got a running back and Blake Jones. They got over 795 yards. He's only played 8 games, so I don't know if he's been hurt. And their top receivers, Jay Blivens, he has 46 catches for 700 yards. So they got some guys that can do some things on the offensive side of the ball.
Absolutely.
And it just kind of tells you that quarterback's pretty salty too. I mean, throwing, like I said, that's big numbers, you know, over 2,000 yards and 23 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. It just tells you Ethan Lawrence and those guys, Sweet, and those guys in the back end with Kanijo, they got to be ready for a big test this weekend. They're gonna get a test.
Yes, sir.
And I tell you, that's why I asked about the weather. Me, I hated cold weather. Some guys just don't like cold weather, but I love that what Ethan said. I don't wear sleeves, and him being a running back, that's really good because anytime you had them sleeves on, they get slippery.
Yeah, and I think that was an issue last Thursday. Some of our guys got bundled up. Jalen Sweet, Virgil. Virgil ended up taking his sleeves off because he fumbled early on.
Yeah.
And when you wear those cotton sleeves, you start to sweat, it gets slippery, and it causes issues. So, and I told our kids, I said, even at practice, some kids want to bundle up and put a lot of clothing on. I said, guys, you need to get your body adapted to what it's going to be like in the playoffs. We plan to be in the playoffs for a while, and I know how that weather can get. One year here, it was our first year here. No, our second year here. It was 13 degrees versus Booker T. And I'll never forget how cold it was. And our kids were acting kind of soft the whole time, the weeks prior to playing them, and then it caught us in a bind. So our kids need to get prepared for that cold weather. Practice when it's 40 degrees. Go out there without no sleeves so your body can get accustomed to it. You can get ready for that playoff type of weather.
That's good stuff, though. Coach, like I said, everything kind of finishing up. Biggs will take on PC North, Stillwater take on Booker T. You got Del City and Sand Springs and Choctaw versus Deal Creek. There's some good, solid matchups, coming on this Friday night. And think about it, everybody plays Friday night. I was kind of hoping some play Friday night, some play Saturday, so you go catch some of the games, kind of how they did last year, but they're not doing it this year. But I'll just tell you right now, what you've done with the boys is like I said, I keep saying it over and over and over again like a broken record, but it's amazing, So let's get into some of the stats you was kind of talking about. Virgil, he's throwing the ball right now. I think he's throwing the balls better than he's thrown it all year.
Yes, sir.
And that's a good thing because he's going into the playoffs. He's killing you with his arm, he's killing you with his leg.
Yes, sir.
He was 5 for 8, 62%, 110 yards, 2 TDs. That's good stuff. Rushing wise, he was 6 for 63, 2 TDs. Ethan Lawrence, 9 carries, 85 yards, 1 TD. Jason Smith, 8 carries, 81 yards, 3 TDs. 3 TDs, folks.
Yes,
on 8 carries.
Wow, that's amazing.
I mean,
and he had a touchdown call back with a call that was questionable, like we always have. It was a block in the back. I didn't see it, and that got called back. So it should have been 4 touchdowns on what 10 carries.
Yes.
That's amazing.
It
shows what kind of athlete he is, and I keep saying it every week. Some colleges going to be very lucky to have a Jason Smith and a Darius Hampton types. I didn't even get to speak about Darius. Darius had a 4-sack day.
Yeah. Oh, I was getting there, Coach. I got it on my notes. We'll talk about Sack King. I mean, like I said, the Sack King, I think he ended up breaking the record.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, then you go to the receiving yards. Jalen Sweet, you talked about him earlier. He's averaging 25 yards a catch. He had 3 catches for 88 yards, 2 TDs. Like I said, 25 yards a catch. And I'm telling you right now, this kid plays on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people talk about DBs not having hands. But you can't say it about this young man because he got hands.
Absolutely.
Because I'm saying the guy can catch. So I'm telling you, Sand Springs, throw the ball his way. You saw what PC did, North did, tried to throw his way 2 times, and guess what? He picked them both off. So Canigel had 1 catch, 18 yards.
Yeah.
It just tells you what you mean, the different weapons you have, though. It's crazy because, like Coach McDonald said, you can't just prepare for Jason Smith. You can't just prepare for Ethan Lawrence. Canigel, that's when you're going to hit you with a, Sweet. That's when you're going to hit it with your
still got Foreman.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of weapons.
Got a lot of weapons.
And there are a lot of, the deal I love about it, and this is why I love going both ways. You're teaching kids the game of football because if you play receiver, it's naturally you just understand how when you're at DB, you can see how receivers are breaking their routes and how they're coming off because you play the position. Same thing when you're at receiver, you kind of play defensive back so you can kind of see what coverages are in, and it gives you a better advantage psychologically, and it helps your skills. You're working receiver drills all week in individual. You're working on your hands, so that makes you a better DB. And we're lucky and blessed to have a track team back there.
Yes.
Canigel and Jalen Sweet, Braylon, Ethan, all those guys. This year in the track season, we're going to see what kind of speed they have, and it's going to show why we had success this year. Because when you got guys that have speed and can catch and psychologically are very smart, that's a dangerous weapon to have, and we have multiple weapons.
Well, like I said, we talked about the freshman Turner. He had 10 carries, 38 yards. And this young man, he's not a freshman no more. He's grown up, become a sophomore. He's played in some varsity games. Got his name out last week. He had 112 yards. A couple TDs. This week, 10 carries, 38 yards. Like I said, playing against good varsity talent.
Yes, sir.
Not U.S. Grant, but he's still playing against a lot in a team that like I said is maybe 1 game away from being in the playoffs.
Yes,
so
sir.
it kind of tells you right there. So then we go on the defensive side of the ball, man, which this is the side I know you love. You get tickled because these guys get after it.
Yes, sir.
B. Adamman, 5 tackles. K. Thomas, 4 tackles. Jay Smith, granted he had 3 touchdowns. He said, I'm going to take the night off on defense. I'm only going to have 2 tackles tonight, Coach.
Yeah.
I'm going to save my body for Sand Springs. Ethan Lawrence, another good 5 tackles. Foreman. I'll tell you, Foreman's been starting to show out the last few weeks, man. They're starting to see his name just pop up, on the defensive side.
I spoke to Oklahoma State about him yesterday. They really, really like Jaden. They really want Jaden bad, and I'm excited to see him continue to grow. He's a big kid that's showing what he can do.
He had 4 tackles, a half sack. Jay Howard, 3 tackles. B. Stalker, the guy that was probably the player of the game of the Deer Creek game, knocking down the ball. He had 6 tackles, 2 sacks.
Yes, sir.
Stoner, the big, I call him blue chip. They call them 5 stars. I like calling them blue chips because I think old school. You know what I'm saying? I like the blue chips. Stars don't mean nothing. They can take a star, but you can't take away them chips, though.
Yes, sir.
So Stoner, his name gets out there. He has 3 big tackles, then 1.5 sacks. This guy's just a sophomore, folks. I'm telling you right now, before he leaves Dell City, he's gonna have every offer on the table.
Absolutely.
From Ohio State to OU
Yes,
to
sir.
LSU to Alabama. And wherever he wants to pick, he's gonna have 45 hats up on the table, and he's gonna get to pick where he wants to go. But my man, that to me, that I think that, like we say, don't get enough credit is D. Hampton.
Man.
9 tackles,
Yes.
4 sacks.
Yes.
I'm telling you, we had him on the show last week, and he was kind of quiet, but he ain't quiet on the field, though. I'll tell you that.
No,
Quarterbacks look after. I'm telling you right now, they got him in their rearview mirror looking like, where's this young man at?
Yes,
and I
sir.
watched some of his plays, from last week. Just him getting after the quarterback. He just gets after that quarterback. He has a knack to get to the QB. Man, I don't care if they're holding him or pulling him. He just finds a way to get there, though. And that's just, I know I think he ended up breaking good.
He tied it. He had 19.
Okay. So
he
he's what? He get one
this week, and he gets it. And if we go by the pass and what he's been doing, he'll get the record this week. And the thing I like about Darius, he set that goal before the season. He said, I'm going to break the season sack record here at Dale City, and for him to be able to show up and do it when he was the unsung hero. Everybody's talking about Stone. Everybody's talking about Jason, Nigel. And for him to show up, it's amazing. And even it was a write-up with Preps OK this week, and they were talking about that. They were talking about it was like, I don't know if it was, I forgot what it was called, like players to watch out for, players to go on the radar.
Yeah.
And he was that player. You know, and the article said, you know, everybody's been talking about David Stone, everybody's been talking about Jason Smith, everybody's been talking about Nigel, but Hampton is really the guy that has really stepped up and been our captain and been a guy that has consistently played well. And to get 19 sacks, I don't
Yes, sir.
care what level you play on, that's amazing. And to do it in one of the best divisions in Oklahoma shows what type of player he is, and it shows what college coaches need to take notice of the remarkable talent that Darius is.
Well, Coach, I'll tell you right now, Texas Tech is giving out scholarships left and right like they're hotcakes. You know,
Yes,
a couple
sir.
of young men in Oklahoma this week. You know,
Yes,
I know
sir.
the kid over Memphis City got one. I know Cade McConnell just got one.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, and he was already supposed to be with TCU.
Yes, sir.
So it's kind of changing, man. The new coach comes open, so I think that he opened up the recruiting doors. But I'll tell you right now, not taking that from the young man from Memphis City, but I think Hampton is just as good as that guy. I mean, he gets
he
after.
is.
Go look at that guy's sack record. And guess what? I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it 100. They both play the same teams.
Yeah.
They played. Let's go look at that young man's sack record, and they both play the same position.
Same.
And I'm not knocking nobody. I just keep it 100 here. But I'm just telling you right now, sometimes these kids get overlooked. This kid, I mean, I'm telling you, Hampton got more things you can do with him by putting weight on him. You saw him last week, man. You could put another 20,
He
25
can be a
pounds.
hybrid
Yeah.
guy. He could be a guy that you can move around the outside,
Yes.
DN, or even like a safety type position.
Yes.
Because he can run with a tight end. He can run with a running back, and even a slot receiver. Like I said, he runs hurdles for us. So I'm just amazed.
Hey, you're
what-
missing out. You're missing out.
Somebody's gonna get.
Somebody
like
gonna
I
get a
said with
steal.
Jason, somebody's gonna get a steal.
Steal.
For him. Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, like I said, man, that's the defense, man, putting up big numbers. You know, like I said, you know, going in this week, you got Sand Springs, like I said, once again, Bigsby and PC North and Choctaw, Deer Creek, and Stillwater Booker T. No one ever wants to look kind of ahead, you know, but you know, it's weird as a coach. You can't look too far ahead, but you got to think, hey, if I win, who do I have? Do I have a Deer Creek that I've already played and got film on? Do I have a Choctaw that, hey, I wouldn't watch in person, but you know, that was back to week 5, week 6. Now things has changed, so it's kind of, you know, interesting. You know, if you did have to pick, who would you want to pick though?
Well, you know, coaches say they don't look ahead. They're not being honest.
No, they ain't keeping
Especially
it
as a
100.
head coach. You look ahead,
You have
but
to.
you're mature enough to not look too far ahead and
Yes,
take
sir.
care of business. So honestly, at this point in time in the season, anybody we play is going to be a great team, especially with the way it's shaped up and 6A has split. So your typical 4 seed, now the 4 seed.
No.
Sand Spring is a 2 or 3 seed.
Yes, sir.
You know, so that's a tough challenge within itself. And you know, I'll take on either one, Choctaw or Deer Creek. I just want to make it. So
Yes, sir. That's
whoever's
it.
there, when we get there, if we get there, if we go take care of business, I'm fine with whoever we face. You know, I think they both present tough challenges, and they're going to find that out when they play each other this week. But I really have to focus on Sand Springs because they're a great team.
No.
They're a team that can come over here and beat us. So I want to take care of business and go out there and play the way we should. And don't turn the ball over, play physical or fast football the DC way. And I'll just be thankful enough to get past them because they're such a great team. I'll be thankful enough just to get past them, and whoever we face, I'll be thankful for that challenge as well.
Well, Coach, I know it's easy to say those things because you know you got to keep the guys dialed in, man, and that's the biggest. I think the biggest thing is that hey, we've done all this stuff. We won district. We go 9-1. You know, we pretty much go through everybody, and you know, good thing about it, like you said, you did have some games that hey, you had to fight and claw to win, and you know, going in overtime with Bishop McGinnis, you know.
Yeah.
With PC North and Deer Creek coming back, you know, from, you know, being down 21
Yeah.
with Deer Creek. And so these guys have been in the test battle. And so, you know, right now it's just keeping them focused. Hey, this is what we got to take care of. Because like I said, you said it just right. Sand Springs not a 4 seed.
No.
I mean, they could easily be a 2
absolutely
seed
not.
in this.
Yes.
You know, easily could be a 2 seed.
Couple plays away from being a
you know, they
2
beat,
or
they,
3 seed.
That's it. They
Yes,
beat.
sir.
If they beat Choctaw, they beat Booker T.
They're
They're
2
sitting
seed.
looking at 2
Absolutely.
seed.
Yes.
So I just think, like I said, the boys got to be mentally prepared. Like I said, you know, they got to keep doing the things they're doing. And I said, you know, and even the weather, you know, the weather play a big part. I love what you said. Hey, we got to go and be prepared for it. Because a lot of coaches want to get the kids bundled up, don't want to get them cold or sick. Hey, you got to get ready for the game.
Yes,
though.
sir.
It's time to get ready for the game.
Absolutely.
But, Coach, I tell you, you know, before we get out of here and wrap up another great show, Who's our players of the week this week?
Well, starting offensively, and this is starting to become like it is with defense. There's so many guys making plays. Yeah, it's a tough thing to pick, but I got to go with Jalen Sweet.
Sweet!
A young man that had multiple touchdowns.
Yes, sir.
He fumbled early, and I looked him in the eye and said, I'm going to come back to you, Jalen. Make up for it. Don't let your body language get bad. Make up for it. You're going to have opportunity. And for him to come out and have 2 touchdowns over, I know it was over 30 yards. I think they were both over 30 yards. So him to be able to come out and do that when everybody knows he has that capable type of speed to be able to go over the top, and for him to still be able to do it, it's amazing, and it shows that you're not going to be able to put 7 to 8 people in the box and think you're going to cover him one-on-one.
No. And
then you mix in the Kanijo. So Jalen Sweet for our offensive player of the week. And then you go to the defense. It could have went to a lot of different people. This is the first time that we had a back-to-back winner. I got to go Darius Hampton again. A guy who
Sack
has
King.
multiple back-to-back weeks of getting 4 more sacks to tie the single-season record
Yes, sir.
at Dell City. That's amazing. So Darius Hampton, I'm astounded at what he's doing this year, and he's our defensive player of the week. He deserves it. I'm excited to see what he's going to do this week and get the sack record and put his name in history for good at Dell City. Then special teams, I got to give it to our kicker, Stanley. Anytime you score 62 points and then you hit all your PATs, he did miss a field goal, but he didn't let it shake him. He's been a consistent threat for us all year. So for him to be able to get all his PATs, be able to get things going into the playoffs, I think Stanley Johnson deserves that award for Special Team Player of the Week.
Hey, Coach, you talk about your kicker.
Yes, sir.
You go play that boy linebacker. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah, he's a big one now. He's a big
He just a junior?
Yeah, he's just a junior. Yes,
Oh
sir.
man, if you look at that, you looking at this young man, he looks like a tight end
Yeah.
or outside linebacker, and this guy, he got a strong leg, and that's the big thing about it, when you can kick in the kind of weather that you had last weekend and then going into the playoffs, because he's kicking 40-yard field goals easily. So
Yes, sir.
I think that's a big weapon to have, going into the playoffs. So
Yes, sir.
Coach Jones, like I said, it's your first year head coach.
Yeah.
The things you've done, now you're going into the playoffs. Then is there anything you like to tell the teams and the fans? And I tell everybody, I challenge me as Tony Johnson. I challenge everybody Friday night to come out and support this team, because yes, they have home field advantage. We only got it for one home game, so next week's game will be at a neutral site. So I challenge everybody this Friday night. I know the viewers that's watching the show week in and week out. Bring a friend.
Yes, sir.
We plan on having blackout or red out.
It's gonna be blackout this week.
Let's have blackout.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be cold, but we're gonna warm it up.
Yes, sir.
And I said let's bring a friend this Friday night, because
Yes, sir.
these guys need you, man. Like Ethan Lauren. Let's push these guys to the. We want to keep going. We don't want the journey to stop here at Dell City. We want to be playing somewhere next week against the Deer Creek or Choctaw Yellow Jackets. But I challenge everybody this Friday night, no matter what the weather is. Hey, Coles, Old Navy, they got some gloves and hats. Go get them. Let's come out and
Absolutely.
support the Dell City Eagles this Friday night.
Absolutely. And like we stated at the beginning of the show before we break it out, I just want to give a special thank you to the administration, Ms. Hill, Mr. Crawford, Mr. B, Ms. Stansberry, all our teachers and the staff, our custodian staff,
Yes, sir.
my coordinators and assistant coaches for the regional Coach of the Year, and Coach Hatchett for nominating me. Coach Hatchett, he's one of my mentors. I look up to him, all the success that he has, and for him to be able to nominate me, that was great. And like I said, it's not a self-award. It's a team and family award. So for us to be able to get that award together, I think that's great. But I don't want to stop here. I want to go make this run. I want to be able to get into the playoffs and show what kind of team we are. And for us to be able to do that, it starts with the fans and our family and our community packing that stadium.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a blackout. So let's get it. Let's sell it. Let's sell Robert Casu out. Let's make it packed as it can be. Let's put it back to the days when Millwood City and Dell City used to play, where it was standing room only.
Yes, sir.
Let's pack this place out. Let's get out there. Let's be loud. Make sure we understand the flow of the game. Let's not be loud when we're going offensively, but let's be loud when they're on offense. And let's pack this place out. Let's get it going. This is a big time game for us. Our kids earned it. Our coaches earned it. Let's sell it out. Let's do what we need to do to be able to get this victory with your help and with the playing of the players as well.
Well, Coach Jones, man, like I said, let's go take care of business Friday night,
Yes, sir.
and take one step at a time. And like I said, it's not. Hey, it's a new season. It's road to the gold ball, And I know you would love to bring one back home. You know it's going to be tough, but
Yeah.
you know, but that's what it's all about. No one gets into a job that wants it to be easy. So I think you've done a great job what you've done with these guys, and they believe in it. And having Ethan Lawrence here this morning, man, I'm just telling you, man, just to see this young man talk.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, folks, if he don't make it in football, he will be an Abercrombie model.
That's awesome.
Or, I'm telling you, man. I mean, good-looking young man,
Yes, sir.
well-spoken young man, and this is what I like about this, man, is that we talked about this, you know, Saturday morning when you came over.
Yeah.
What you have done with Dell City, man. The people get to see Dell City, man. It's not like this is some bad school. I wouldn't send my kid here. These kids here are good kids.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're amazing kids, man.
Yeah,
and people don't know that thing. And you said it time and time again that you get a bad rap, but man, it's a family here, man. And that's what I like about it. I get to see it firsthand because
to see it
I spend more time with you. But
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, from
And the
the
News OK did a great job. They did a great article. If you haven't got to see it, you should read about it, how the stereotypes of Dell City and the city of Dell City. I think we get a bad rep from the media. And I think the media
Yes.
needs to, if they're going to cover some of those bad things, the robberies, the murders, they need to cover some of the good things about Dell City. It's
Yes.
a lot of great families here. It's a lot of great things going on with our band. We had Stucco State this week,
Yes.
Student Council State here. And we're doing great things here. Let's cover some of the positives and give Dell City a positive light because this city deserves it. It's a lot of great people here. And you see it with these players that get up here and Coach Madonna. This is a great place to be. It's not a place that you need to be scared to have your kid come. It's
No.
a place that your kid can excel and grow as a person.
and guess what? They're getting scholarships here, like they're getting in every other school too.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, he got probably some of the 5 top-notch guys next year that's going to get recruited. And
Absolutely.
I tell you, Texas Tech, go get Hampton, get Jay Smith. I know you guys are giving them out like hotcakes.
Yes,
Go
sir.
get these 2 young men, Coach. Get on the phone with that guy, Coach Barnes. And he just took on.
Yeah, I'm
He's
gonna
going to be
hit him
one of their coaches over there. You
gonna hit him
know,
up. Yes, sir.
so I appreciate everything. I appreciate you, Coach. I
sir.
appreciate what you do. You know, like I said. I'm just excited for this young man. Just like I said, he won regional coach of the year. Then let's go win the big coach of the year because I mean there's nobody that's doing what he's done. Coach Montgomery already had his team at Bigsby. He had to put his team together, and what they did last year to this year, it tells you right there. It speaks for itself. So I want to thank everybody for watching another great episode of Keeping It 100, the Coach Jones Show, and we'll catch you next week talking about the recap of Sand Springs.